In this problem, it says that Bill and Kim are purchasing a house for $287,000. Their bank requires them to pay a 10% down payment. The current mortgage rate is 10%, and they are required to pay 1 point at the time of closing. We want to determine the total amount they will pay for their house, including principal, interest, down payment, and points for the following lengths of their mortgage. And then we have 10 years, 20 years, and 30 years. So to start this problem, and this is going to apply no matter how long the term of the mortgage is, we're going to start with the price of the house, which is $287,000. And we will calculate the down payment. And that is, before I start writing in what the answer is, let's show how to get that. So we're going to take 10% times $287,000. And of course, you'll change that 10% to a decimal. And get $28,700. Now we need to know how much is the mortgage going to be, how much is being financed. So we take the $287,000 minus the down payment. And that's going to give us $258,300. Now we also need to calculate that 1 point. Oops, sorry about that. Keep moving the screen. So 1 point is going to be 1% times the amount of the mortgage. So that's 0.01. And that is $2,583. Okay. So now we're ready to find how much a monthly payment is going to be for each of the terms of the mortgage. So let's start with 10 years. There's a 10-year mortgage. Then the monthly payment is calculated by taking the principal times the rate over the number of compounding periods, or the number of times a year you make a mortgage payment. And we're going to put that over 1 minus, open parenthesis, 1 plus r over n, and that's raised to the negative n times t, where t is going to be the amount of time for the mortgage. So t is the value that's going to change for each of these 3 terms. So for a 10-year mortgage, our principal is $258,300, and I multiply that by the interest rate, which is 10%, which is very high. And we're dividing that by 12 because this is a monthly payment. That's what you're going to see for mortgage problems here. And now I'm dividing that by 1 minus 1 plus, and notice I opened a bracket. So you can, when you're typing this into the calculator, you can put a parenthesis, that's fine, or a bracket. But you do want to put that so that your whole denominator is together, so that the numerator is being divided by that entire denominator. So just be careful to watch out for that. So I have 1 plus 0.10 over 12, and this is going to be raised to the negative n, which is 12, times t, which is the 10. And then I'll just close that. And when I type this into the calculator, I get $3,413.45. So now I want to figure out how much are they going to pay for this house if that's their monthly payment. So the total paid is going to be, first, the down payment. Then they also paid $2,583 plus the monthly payment, which is $3,413.45. But because that's a monthly payment, that happens 12 times a year for 10 years. So we take that monthly payment times 12 times 10. And when I total this up, I get $440,000, $897. So $440,897. So that's our answer for part A. Now let's take a look at part B. So what I'm going to do is, let's see what the best way to do this. I'm going to change this 10-year to 20-year. And I've taken out the other references to 10 years, and I'm going to replace that with 20 years. So most of this is going to be the same. The big change is going to be the time. So we find our monthly payment for a 20-year mortgage, and that is $2,000. Oops. Forgot to change my pen color back. $2,492.65. So I'll put that here for the monthly payment. And now I recalculate. So the down payment and the points are going to be the same no matter how long the mortgage is for. So we're paying less. Oh, and I missed this. I need to change the number of years to 20. So a lower payment, but we're making twice as many payments. So now the total paid for this house is $629,519. Okay. So now I'll go back and change my years to 30 years. Okay. So now we have 30 years in there for the time, and that gives us a monthly payment of $2,266.77. And so we'll put that down here to figure out the total amount paid, and that's 12 times a year for 30 years. And now the total paid is going to be $847,320.30. So you can see there's a huge difference depending on how long you take to pay off the mortgage. So something to consider when you are purchasing a house. If you can get a shorter term for the mortgage and you can afford that monthly payment, then that's, obviously going to work to your advantage. So that's how you do that problem.